Welcome, everyone. My name is Hank. I am a part of the Career and Professional Development team, and I would love to welcome you to another Career Quest session. Today, we are joined by one of our great employer partners, Central Health. They are our newest employer partner, and they are part of the Renew program here at WGU. They will be sharing with us today about their company culture, the benefits of joining the Central Health team, and current career opportunities that they do offer. With that being said, I will pass it over to the Central Health recruitment team.
Thank you so much, Hank. We are incredibly excited to be here today, and I love seeing that people are coming in, calling in from all over the country. That's amazing. We're coming to you live from Austin, Texas, and we're just here to share a little bit more about our partnership with WGU and what it means to come on board with our team here with Central Health Community Care in Sendero. I'm super excited to be joined by our talent acquisition all-stars here. We have Fevi, Taylor, Javi, and Naveen also here in Austin, Texas. They will be your liaisons through this process, and I'm going to turn it over to Javi and Naveen for a presentation on joining our healthcare access mission.
Hi there, how are y'all doing? My name is Javier. I am one of the senior talent acquisition partners here in Austin, Texas. I want to first off give a big shout out to Tiffany Weaver. She is also on the phone. She's one of our nurses that we have here, our clinical education nurses that we have here. So I wanted to say hi to her real quick. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what Central Health Community Care and Sendero are all about. We are an enterprise here in Austin, Texas, the greater Travis County. We are an integrated healthcare system in the greater Austin area. We were founded actually by the Travis County Health Hospital District. They, voted for this, to provide access to healthcare to all people, that regardless of whether or not they have insurance, different backgrounds, just be able to provide healthcare access for all. So, part of our mission is to make sure that we are providing, quality healthcare, delivering high caliber healthcare to those who need it most. Immigrants, trans, LGBTQIA, behavioral health, all sorts, just so we're able to provide quality healthcare, which is something that's super important for those of us here, not only in Travis County, but in the surrounding Central Texas area. We have more than 30 health centers delivering integrated primary and specialty care to the underserved community members here. So we do dental, we do OBGYN, women's health, wound care, you name it, there's a lot of things that we do. And we also have moved into the specialty arena where we're helping with nephrology, cardiology, neurology, because we want to make sure that everybody that comes through our doors here at Central Health Community Care get the access that they need, and they're able to leave here knowing that we've done our best and provided the best healthcare that we can and getting them back to the path to the road to recovery. This is our Travis County Healthcare Safety Net. So this is an initiative, like I mentioned before, brought to us by Travis County here in Austin to be able, and the surrounding areas, to be able to provide healthcare for everybody. So it's a great thing. We love working here. I speak for all of us here in the department. We just have a fantastic leader in Sarah, and we have a fantastic team. And I can't say enough great things about, working here at Central Health in the Central Health Enterprise. So Naveen's here is going to go ahead and screen. Okay, so we are hiring today. So, we do a lot of direct patient care, as I said. So we have medicalists, we hire for medical assistants, we hire for registered nurses. We do have a lot of positions available in nursing leadership. We also have provider positions available. So those of you that have gone on to become nurse practitioners, physician assistants, doctors, things of that nature, behavioral health. We provide, we have a litany of jobs available for us to be able to work with. I personally am an RN recruiter, so I work specifically with RN. So if you do apply, if you are an RN that's on this call and you do apply, you'll be working directly with myself and with Naveen. She is my partner in crime there. We do a lot of the clinical roles. Taylor, who's with us, does a lot of the nurse practitioner, physician assistant, provider roles that we have. So, if you know anybody as well, please by all means feel free to send them our way. Fevi does a lot lot of our other roles, administrative, operations, and finance. She has a team that helps her with joint technology, infrastructure, project management, compliance, and we have so many more positions. So not only are we able to assist the patients directly by providing them with the resources that they need, as well as the people to be able to help, like the nursing leadership and the providers, but we also have a huge network of background people able to assist them. We consider ourselves part of the background people that are able to assist. What we do, we indirectly help people that need the assistance. So, not only are we able to provide, frontline services, but we are able to provide that infrastructure that helps us be able to create the enterprise that we need in order to be able to help all people in Travis County. So pretty exciting stuff that we've got going on here. Absolutely. And let's see. And then, so why join our team? So, work-life balance is something that's huge for us. I can't speak enough things about the work-life balance that we're able to provide for our employees here, such as things as, generous PTO, floating holiday packages. We've got mental health days that you can take, personal mental health days. We offer competitive salaries. We're always out looking. We have an entire compensation team that looks to provide, goes out in the market, gets market analysis. We have people that do that, which is a job itself. So if that's something that you're interested in, they do provide market analysis to make sure that we are offering the most competitive salaries out there. Of course, you get to live and work in beautiful Austin, Texas. If you haven't, heard about us, all you got to do is just jump on TikTok or any of the other social media pages and just see all the wonderful things about Austin, Texas. And my personal favorite thing, which is eating tacos. Everybody here will tell you, like, you can bribe me with a taco, and there are plenty in Austin, Texas. So if that's your thing, and food is your thing, Austin is the place to be. But not only that, just the surrounding area, all the wonderful opportunities, all the beautiful things that Austin has to offer. I cannot stress how wonderful it is to live here, and just the things that we're able to provide on top of working here with us. We also have student loan forgiveness opportunities. I know that Hank at the beginning mentioned a little bit about the Renew program. I'll let him talk to that at the end. So we do have questions. Make sure that you raise your hand or find a way to be able to bring that to his attention, just so that you can get more information about that through WGU. And also, we invest in your future. One of the great things that I love about working here is that we promote from within. I cannot stress that enough. A lot of the nursing leadership positions that you see, we do bring people in from the outside because we always want to get a fresh perspective. But a lot of the development that we have, is for people to be able to promote to the next level, be able to get to a nurse leadership management position, be able to become a wound care specialist, be able to become, registered nurse in nephrology, or be able to become a medical assistant lead, or, the facilities manager. There's definitely room for growth and opportunity. And one thing that I love working here is that once you're here, we do take care of our people that are in house with us. We want to make sure that they are promoted. We want to make sure that they are getting that professional development they need. And that's why we develop those career pathways for them. And then, of course, we want to make sure that you have a retirement plan that meets your needs. Everybody that comes through, has an automatic deduction that's taken for their 401 that gets taken. And then, of course, we match it at 6% as well. So, one of the goals was to make sure that everybody here has a retirement plan, has a retirement, something ready for them to be able to retire to. So we want to make sure that we are able to provide these sort of resources for you guys. So just full well knowing that you're going to get a full all-encompassing experience here, not only with your job, but with your quality of life, work balance, with being able to set yourself up for retirement, and then doing something that you really love, whether it's going to be directly with patient care or indirectly with helping with the infrastructure to be able to provide that patient care. Super important. And we're so happy that we could be able to be here and present to you guys, so that way you guys can see what it is that we have to offer, and hopefully it's something that's going to be a good fit for you. So awesome. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Naveen now. She's going to talk a little bit more about, tips and tricks, because we really wanted to focus on, what you guys can do, to help your experience going through the process a little bit better. So Naveen, go for it.
Yes, thank you, Javi. Yeah, so definitely, if you are interested in coming to Austin and positions with us, we definitely want to help you kind of stand out to our hiring managers. And as a recruiter at heart, resumes are everything to us. And so just some tips on kind of what we look for in resumes and what hiring managers are looking for. Definitely having a clear, concise, and relevant one. What I mean by that is definitely make sure that that resume is specific to the job. So if you're applying to multiple positions with our company or any company for that matter, make sure that resume is aligned for that. You don't ever want to have just one resume because not every resume fits every job, of course. So definitely want to review that job description, want to see what kind of responsibilities it has, and steer that resume towards that. Avoid too many pages. I say that kind of lightly. I understand if you do have those experiences, you do want to show them, of course. Don't want you to take something off that's relevant, but it comes back to that relevant experience. We don't want to have too many pages and the second page is filled with kind of not as relevant experience to that job. So it comes back to just being concise and relevant. Of course, the professional format is also very important. We want it to look very professional, no photos and no color and decorative kind of elements. Those kind of can be a little bit of a distraction. So we just want to see what you have done, your experience, your skills, want to focus on that. And then of course, contact info. We want to triple check this contact info because I think there's been many times where I believe I don't want to speak for everyone else, but I've had times where the wrong contact info, wrong phone number has been listed on the resume, and I haven't been able to reach the candidate, and they could have kind of had the position or had an interview. And so that is something that I would definitely say, please check that contact info, triple check it. And then of course the main stuff of education, skills, experience, projects, again, make sure those are included with the target of relevant experience. And so like the next point over here, experiences. We want to see all your experiences, but we want to make sure that those are relevant to that job you're applying for. And then quantifying when possible. In case you were a scribe, like a medical scribe, for example, write down how many kind of charts you finished that week or how many appointments you sat through, or if you wrote a report as kind of a business administration, kind of quantify those numbers. That really helps kind of overview to see your workload and kind of what you're able to handle as well. So moving on, you have a perfect resume, you get an interview, the hiring manager is like, yeah, we definitely want to bring this person in. What are we doing for the interview? So definitely do research before the interview. I think the prep before the interview goes a long way for how you present yourself during the interview. So researching the company, not just, knowing what the mission is, but seeing what we're involved in. And, Javi kind of covered a lot of what we do and stuff, but we have events and current priorities that are consistently changing and evolving as healthcare always does. So things like that, definitely being kind of on top of that will definitely help you carry out your interview. And then again, that job description. I know I've said job description like a million times now, but that job description is everything. If you're able to understand what you're going into and what that responsibilities are, it's really going to help you kind of answer the questions that are going to come your way in those interviews. So definitely look at that job description, see the experiences that are relevant to you, and be able to play out experiences as an example in your own life, in your own kind of professional experience as well. And one method that we kind of always stress is the STAR method, and that's situation, task, action, result. So that's the best way to kind of walk through when someone says like, hey, can you please provide an example on a time you had conflict? Think of the STAR method. What was the situation? What was the task at hand? What did you do? And at the end, what was the result, good or bad? So definitely, those are some things to keep in mind. And then lastly, prepare those SMART questions. So definitely think about, what's the life cycle of someone in this role? What is a daily kind of day-to-day look like? What's team culture like in this specific team? Those kind of questions are questions that you want to prepare yourself to ask during those interviews. The questions are very important because they definitely can show the hiring managers that you're curious about the job, that you are very interested in the job and you want more clarifications. It definitely shows kind of that interest. So you've done your research, you've done the prep, you're walking into the interview, and that first impression. That first impression is going to obviously be everything. In terms of just walking in, you want to come early. You definitely, or even if it's a virtual interview, because I know a lot of y'all are not from Austin at the moment, until, of course, you get the job with us. But you definitely want to show up to either the virtual interview or the in-person interview early. Have a good introduction for yourself, a very strong elevator pitch, and then communicate with clarity and confidence. Know that your answers are structured and concise, and be sure that you're fully answering those questions, and provide examples with all the questions that you possibly can. So if they're experience-based questions, definitely provide an example. That's really going to stand out for you. And then show enthusiasm and curiosity. The hiring managers want to know that you're genuinely interested. So again, like I said, that prep before the interview with the questions, that is going to be one way to show genuine interest. And then last but not least, highlighting those soft skills. Soft skills can go a long way in every position. And it's something that we use as being a student, we use in personal and professional lives. So definitely use all those kind of problem solving, communication, and adaptability. Bring all those to the tables, provide examples, and have those kind of ready to go. So if you're wondering, how are you going to apply with us? So have your resume ready, of course, with all the tips and tricks we just gave. And then we do have our Career Central Health website that will have our community care, Sendero Health Plans, and Central Health system career listed over there. And then I believe we also have a WGU, a specific link that y'all probably received their Hank. And then again, connect with us. We're here to help you. We love doing things like this. We love educating people about who we are and even just helping y'all with the tips and tricks. So we're here for y'all, and y'all just let us know what we can do. We're just going to open it up. Did we have any questions?
All right, thank you for that great presentation. I know that we have Tiffany, before we start on questions, I know we have Tiffany on the line, who is a WGU alum. So I want to give her an opportunity just to talk about her experience with WGU and her experience at Central Health. Did I put you on the spot, Tiffany?
Okay, there we go. Thanks for having me. Let's see. I really appreciate my experience with WGU. I went back for my master's in nursing, and it was probably at least 10 years after I got my associates. So I was really glad to find a college, a university that included my experience and not make me feel like I was going back to the basics and doing everything again. So I did take my time. I know a couple other people who went through the nursing programs at WGU and accelerated and finished in about a year and a half. I did take closer to the full 2 to 3 years just because I know I needed that. Um, but I had a really great mentor with Jeannie. Kept in touch with her for several years afterwards and got to meet her in person a couple of times. So it's been a great experience. And then I'm able to use that specifically with my leadership track that I took to know how to best serve as an educator for our clinical staff and really see, is there something in the process within the clinic or within a service team that I assist, that I support, and seeing what is the best way to do whatever it is that needs to be done for our patient population. And how can I best show that to the staff and make sure that they're performing to the best of their ability?
Thank you. I know when I mentioned to Javi about having a WGU alum joining our session, he was like, hey, I know someone, I hired her directly myself. Let me send her a message. And he sent a quick email, and then Tiffany replied right away. So I definitely appreciate you for joining us and just kind of talking a little bit about your experience at WGU and then working at Central Health.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And if anybody wants to connect, I am on LinkedIn.
Yeah, all right, great. So if anyone else would like to drop their LinkedIn to the chat, that would be great. I always say that these sessions are a great opportunity for students and also our employer partners to connect with our students through a professional channel on LinkedIn is a great opportunity there. I know that I also share LinkedIn profiles and information in the follow-up email. So if you would like, I will send that out after this call. To follow up. All right,
Yeah,
so
just wanted to draw everyone's attention back to the chat. I did include the direct link to our career portal, and that includes resources on all of our open positions, a summary of the work our organization is doing. We typically vacillate between 150 and 200 open positions. We're going through really dramatic growth and expansion here in Austin. And a lot of people think healthcare must be just careers for nursing, physicians, and MAs. Our careers, as Javi and Naveen mentioned, really run the gamut. I know there are a lot of business majors here on the call. Just know that we have a number of open positions in admin, operations, finance, billing, project management. So when you're ready to take that next step after you've graduated, there will be lots of opportunities for you to come on board with our organization. So please check that career portal out. And take a look at our positions and reach out to all of us on the talent acquisition team. We're here to help you on your journey and hope that you end up coming back and checking out all of our positions.
Oh, thank you for that, Sarah. And while we are waiting, if you would like, feel free to drop your question in the chat. If you would like to come off mute, I'll give you that opportunity there. So to do so. So while we are waiting for some questions to be placed in the chat, I just want to remind everyone again that this session will be recorded. I will send this session out today or tomorrow, and along with our link for our survey. And please just take that 1 to 2 minutes to fill out that survey. We'll definitely appreciate it. It gives us an opportunity to see how we did in the session and what else we can do in the future to help support your career. Well, I do have a question kind of moving forward just to start us off. I know we went over the application process and interviewing, but with the emergence of AI, I know I get a lot of questions about, do recruiters use AI to sift through resumes or use those programs? But how do you guys work through your resumes? Are your recruiters looking at resume? Are you using AI? How does that process look for you guys?
That's a great question. And I think that AI will be a tool in the repertoire of talent acquisition teams, but I don't think it's going to replace that human connection with our team. So every resume that comes through to us, and it is hundreds of applications every day, they go through our application process, including screening questions that are based on each individual job description. We have positions that require no experience. We've launched a number of internships and externships and training programs recently. And then, of course, our positions go all the way up to C-suite roles as well. So every job description is written a little bit differently. Something that Naveen touched on is really customizing your application to the role that you're applying for. I think we will be adding more AI tools to help identify, not to eliminate candidates, but really identify which candidates are the best fit for a specific role. But every one of our positions, typically we are hiring for on-site roles here in Austin. We do have hybrid opportunities and some remote roles, but that personal connection with our talent acquisition team and our hiring managers is incredibly important. in the process. So AI is never going to replace that on-site connection with our team.
Oh, thank you. That's great information for us. That I know we get that question a lot here in career services. So we do have a question in the chat, Addison. What are the hiring trends anticipated in healthcare? I consistently see that this is one of the few industries that is seeing growth, and was just curious what you all anticipate. Thanks, Addison.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I know that a massive trend in healthcare is there is going to be a shortage for organizations like Central Health and Community Care in incredibly key roles like nursing, physicians, advanced practice providers, specifically in the primary care sector. That's not to say if you're getting a degree in business or joint tech that there won't be space for you, because as healthcare organizations grow, all of the support teams around those providers and direct patient care will be growing as well. So I know for our organization specifically, we have grown dramatically over the last year. And I anticipate that the healthcare needs here in Travis County, in Austin, are growing, and our organization will grow along with that. But if you look at the national data, there is going to be a primary care shortage anticipated for physicians, advanced practice providers, nurses, and MAs. So what that means for an organization like us is that we really have to prove ourselves as being the employer of choice. Everything that Javi talked about in terms of work-life balance, our salary and benefits, professional growth opportunities, that's what allows our organization to stand out and to make a great nursing student, a great nursing leader like Tiffany make the choice to come on board with us when you have a lot of other options on the table.
Thank you for that, Sarah. And I want to just put in, I know Javi mentioned about the Renew program. That is a program that is new to WGU, and Central Health being our first partners for that. It is geared for our BSN nursing students. It is a no interest loan for students to take advantage of so that they can finish their schooling and have a career with Central Health if they choose to go that route and with that program, and they will not have to pay back that loan. So we will be sharing some more information about the Renew program to our nursing students, but it's a great opportunity to help offset those costs there.
We couldn't be more excited to see that come to fruition. And I'm not sure if we've already added it, and if we haven't added into the chat, I'll get the WGU specific link added in here as well. That will just enable us to know when you apply that you are coming from WGU, and in particular that that Renew program.
All right, thanks, Sarah. And I see that Preston dropped into the chat a little bit more information about the Renew program, and I'll also share that in that upcoming email with the recording of this as well. Now, I know, Sarah, you did mention about the growth of Central Health here in the past year. What do you see as growth for the next 5 years, and what are you guys excited about as Central Health to bring along with a showcase to new applicants or to the city itself?
Absolutely. So just for a little bit of context, our community care partners have been doing direct patient care in the primary care sector for decades here in Austin. But the community said there's also a gap for underserved and under-resourced patients in the area of specialty, transitions of care, healthcare for the homeless, behavioral health. So Central Health just launched direct patient care about 2 years ago. And now we have stood up 15 different specialty service lines in that very short period of time. And so that shows you a little bit of the growth trajectory just in the last 2 years. I anticipate there will be even more growth and expansion in the next 5 years. What that looks like specifically, I can't answer that, but I think we will be seeing additional specialty service lines launched, and then the growth of each individual service line as well. And what that means for someone who is in nursing school right now, or they're completing an MA program, is that we will not just be offering primary care nursing opportunities, but if you're a nurse who's very interested in specialty, if you're interested in going back to school to become an APRN focused on behavioral health, you want to do GI, neurology, you want to do wound care, podiatry, those will be new expansion opportunities. And each new physician that we add to those specialties, they're going to have a support staff around them. What that also means for all the business students on the call today is that there has to be an operational support system around each of those service lines as they expand. So we don't just launch a new specialty practice without project management, without the call center support, the operational support, scheduling, additional payroll, finance support behind those service lines. So every growth increment for Central Health Community Care in Sendero will include all of the support positions behind that.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Just that that you guys have multiple business lines and that you are involved in the community. I think with those different programs, it definitely shows that the impact that you guys are making and the future impact that you will have on the community moving forward. Another question that we have in the chat is, can you just tell us more about like your internships and externships?
This question makes me smile. I love our internship and externship programs, and they are such a great opportunity for us to identify talent early in the process. Someone who is a student, someone who doesn't have that built-in experience yet, but they really believe in our mission as an organization and they want to take their first steps. So I will give special kudos to Javi and Naveen. They both kind of spearheaded our talent acquisition for our MA apprenticeship program. We've now run dozens and dozens of community members who had no prior experience through our MA training program, and then placed them into permanent full-time MA roles with us. We've also just launched, and I don't think Thomas Hunter's on our call today, but he works as part of Fevi's team. Thomas is just moving forward with our very first cohort of community health worker apprentices. They will do a training program within our organization and then be placed into permanent full-time roles with us. We've had an amazing RN apprenticeship program that Javi was our lead on, that have placed amazing nurses into our specialty areas like GI, neurology, nephrology, podiatry. And so those are just some examples, but I think we're about to launch an externship with our joint tech program, our own human resources people team. We've had several interns come through our team and then get placed into permanent full-time positions. And I really do expect, again, we're needing to position ourselves as an employer of choice in this very competitive healthcare market. A big part of that is going to be developing a pipeline. That means that students like all of you on the call today are getting to experience our organization in some of these internship and externship roles, learn about our culture, who we are as an organization, and then hopefully end up coming on board into permanent positions with us.
Oh, that's great to hear. And I look forward to sharing those internships with our students. We will send those out as hot jobs and connect students with those internships when they present themselves. So be on the lookout for those.
Absolutely.
All right. So, and I know we're still waiting. If anyone has any questions or if you want to come off mute, just go ahead and use the raise your hand function and I will take you off mute. Or if you would like, just go ahead and drop the question into the chat for us. And while we give that a few more minutes, I know we spoke earlier about the positions that you guys are hiring for in the different lines. Javi or even Taylor, Phoebe, if you want to talk about any open positions that you currently have that we shared out recently that would be a benefit for students or something that is exciting.
Well, I did want to piggyback on what Sarah was talking about with our internships and externships, particularly as a nurse recruiter. I work with a lot of the different nurse positions that we have, which I'll be more than happy to go over. But I know that we are working on having another nurse residency, program coming up probably within the next 3 to 4 months, from what I understand. So those of you that just graduated or just going to graduate just graduated in the spring or summer, or are about to graduate in the fall, we're going to be looking to people to bring them on, pay them a great wage, for coming on, and on top of that, getting training, and then placing them in a position such as some of the positions that we have available, which is like becoming a respite nurse, or working with any of the specialties that we have available as well. So just keep an eye out on that. That's something that's going to be coming forward as well. But as far as positions that we currently have available, here we've got quite a few in terms of nursing that just opened up. So if you already have nursing experience and you are somebody that is a per se a veteran and have some nursing experience, we do have some registered nurse case manager roles. We have a nurse manager transitions of care, people that are making the transition from getting out of the hospital and they're unhoused currently, getting them in through a program to transition them into allowing themselves to be able to move into a better situation. We have people that are able to help them with that. We have nurses that work with that, particularly multi-specialty nurses. I have a couple of those available working in the nephrology department, and I believe cardiology up there as well. So definitely take a look at our website and see what you have there. But I know that, say for example, you are currently going to school and you want to become a medical assistant. I know that Naveen will be having some medical assistant externships coming up as well as we do have positions of medical assistants that we have. So quite a few positions. I don't know, Febby, Taylor, what do you guys have? Naveen, by all means, please feel free.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we actually have some admin positions currently open right now. We have our medical administrative clerk, which is Naveen is our hiring manager for that. So it's a good start if you're trying to get an experience in admin, in like work. That positions basically you will be working out at our clinic. So there are different clinic locations. We also have our administrative supervisor position. So usually a lot of our medical administrative clerk, that is a step up for them. For administrative supervisor, you will be helping and supporting our nurse manager of operations, and as well as our senior practice admin running clinic. Some of our administrative supervisor role, some of them are multi-site and some of them are single site as well. So those are like really great opportunities with us.
Thank you for that. All right. So it looks like we do have another question in the chat from Jesus. If we do not meet all the minimum requirements, is that an automatic disqualification?
Yes, it is for that specific role. So we do have our minimum either education, work history, certification requirements embedded in each job description. And we do screen based on that. But like I mentioned before, we have positions that don't actually have any experience requirement. So I would just take a look at as many possible job descriptions that may be a match for you, and likely there absolutely will be one that matches with your experience. And we do require high school diploma or equivalency as a baseline. Some of our positions require an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's, but you will see positions that are designed to be more of an entry point into our system. And I do get this question a lot. Healthcare experience is not required for all of our positions. And there are some, actually, the majority of our talent acquisition team came to the table without being in healthcare before. So you can absolutely, if you have the skill set, if you have the aptitude, the ambition, you can fit into any of these roles, even if you don't have that prior direct healthcare experience. So I would just encourage you to take a look at that job portal, the link included above in the chat, and just figure out which position is the best fit for you and that aligns with your background, your skill set, and experience. We do have a lot of certifications that are listed as being desired for our positions, especially in project management, joint tech, but a lot of our job descriptions provide for that being obtained within, for instance, your first year of hire. So you may actually, getting back to the professional development opportunity, you'll likely have the opportunity to obtain those certifications and training as part of your on-the-job experience.
And I wanted to piggyback on that as well. Asking the question about, type of experience or things like that. If they're going to get automatically rejected, make sure you're looking at, Naveen went over this a little bit, but make sure that you're looking at the minimum requirements of the job. Make sure that those minimum requirements are peppered in your resume. And what I mean by that is, like, if, say, for example, they're asking for 2 years of admin experience, and, you had 1 year at, Google and 1 year at, Central Health. Make sure that they're reflected on your resume. I cannot stress that enough. A lot of people assume that we're mind readers, and that and we're not. We can't pretend like we don't know you. Well, we don't know you at all, but pretend like we don't know who you are, what's going on here. So we want to make sure that you're telling us a story with your resume. So we want to make sure that we can see clearly that, oh yes, look, she has those 2 years of admin experience. That minimum requirement is met. We want to pass her on through to the hiring manager, get them over there. And kind of to piggyback on that question that somebody asked earlier about AI and whether or not, we view, resumes, or if that parses resumes. Absolutely. We take a look at every single resume that comes through, even if they get denied, because sometimes people will answer a question wrong. And so, it comes through us, and we make sure that we look through every single resume that comes through here. Our team has grown a lot within TA itself. Fevy can attest to this. Poor Fevy, when I started, it was just her and like one other person. And, I came on board, and then that was 2 of us. That was at the beginning of 2023. We're almost to the end of 2025, and we are a team of 10. So it has grown. Our team has grown, and because we've grown, because we've been adding so many positions through the infrastructure and as well as the frontline positions. So, just know that, to answer that question, we are continuing to grow. We will continue to grow, but make sure, kind of going back to what I was saying initially, make sure that your resume does reflect that experience on your resume, because, we won't know unless you tell us. So we want to make sure that you are demonstrating that on your resume.
Thanks. And as a former recruiter, Javi, I understand that. I emphasize that over and over. Make sure you kind of sprinkle those little tidbits in, and making sure that your experience comes across to the recruiter. You're not a mind reader, and the more that you provide their quantitative numbers and what you have done definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And because a lot of people are like, well, I did that. And I was like, but it's not on your resume. So how am I going to know if you did that if it's not on your resume? So a lot of people like to have that mindset of like, I'm only going to have one resume and this is it. And I was that way myself before I got into recruiting. I was like, this is my resume and this is what I'm speaking to, but it's like, somebody actually pointed out, and they're like, well, you said you've done this. I was like, yeah, I used to do that all the time. They're like, why is it not on your resume? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense now. So, so I impart that wisdom to everybody else, and it makes sense because, we want to make sure that we understand that you have that experience. And the only way that we're going to know is if you tell us through your resume, through the story that you're building on your resume. So please, please, please make sure that that's in there. So that way, because if you do meet those minimum requirements, we want to get you through to the hiring manager. We want to get you through to them so that way they can have those conversations with you and potentially, get that job offer that you're wanting to get and get some stability in your life. So yeah, it's really important to make sure that you're demonstrating that on your resume.
Right. Well, yeah.
Shout out, Hank mentioned this before. Take advantage of your career advisors. They are professionals at helping you customize your resume and setting you up for success when you're going into your first interview, when you're applying for your first job. We work with a lot of schools here in Austin, and I think it's a great tip. Check out what they offer and take advantage. Any additional set of eyes you can get on your resume will be an asset to you. So I think Hank dropped the link in the chat as well, but take advantage of those resources if you can.
Yes, I did drop that in the chat, and I'll also share that in the follow-up email as well. And then Kristen, she put it in the chat. WGU CPD has a great new resume tool coming out in October to help you tailor your resume to various job positions posting. So keep an eye out for that email. So that is to come. And then maybe in the future, Holly, we might have you come in and join us again for some resume tips and kind of go through some best practices there. We have a question from Alan in the chat. So to avoid making my resume too long, is it appropriate to submit a cover letter that details my career journey and how the skills translate to the role I'm applying for, or will it be read?
Well, I can speak to our applicant tracking system, which is iCIMS. We don't have a specific additional requirement to submit a cover letter. You don't need to. I wouldn't say that it's expected, but it can help set you apart. It would be something that would make you unique as a candidate. We don't get a lot of cover letters anymore. And what you can do is just add it in as the first page of your CV or your resume. That will ensure it's actually the very first document that our hiring managers see, and then have your resume underneath that cover letter. Just make sure that it's really specific to the role you're applying for. I've seen cover letters that come through to us that clearly list another employer on there. So again, just another set of eyes on that document, making sure that your contact information is correct, your work history, the dates are correct. All that's going to kind of help set your resume aside. But I wouldn't say that it's expected in any way. Our ATS is actually not even designed to require you to submit a cover letter. But if you have one, I always think it does set you apart because to your point, it allows you to tell your story in more of a narrative form. So yeah, I would just include it embedded in the same document as your resume and just make it the very first thing that the recruiters and the hiring managers will see.
Yeah, and we do read those because like Sarah mentioned, sometimes they're like, I want to apply for this, and then you're like, well, you're applying for this, so clearly, so you want to make sure that it's up to date. I'm a grammar nerd, so I like to read them myself personally, but like you mentioned before, it's not something that's completely necessary. If you can paint the picture in your resume, by all means do that. But if you feel that there's more that you want to expand on, by all means please include it. But like Sarah mentioned, in iCIMS, you want to make sure that you embed it at the very top, and that with the rest of your resume. In fact, I just saw one come through yesterday with a cover letter. I hadn't seen one in a couple minutes. I was like, oh, how fun. Let me read this. So yeah, you can, but it's not, a lot of times, a lot of people don't find it necessary if you can tell it within your resume.
I will add, whether you choose to add the cover letter or not, I think on the resume, it's very helpful to kind of put that introduction elevator pitch on there, even if it's like a sentence or two, just in case it is missed. I love reading the cover letters. I don't know why. I do love reading them, even though we don't see them as often. I think that's why. But our hiring managers are very busy, and so they do have just a certain amount of time to look them over. So sometimes, maybe even if you have that 1 to 2 sentences on that top as like an about, it would be definitely a great addition to or without that cover letter.
Right, great, thank you for those tips. I know with a lot of that, with a lot of resumes and submitting applications, things are missed when those resumes are submitted. So those little bit of tips definitely will help anyone who's applying. Now it says, thank you for the answer. There's so much conflicting information out there regarding what to do. So yes, definitely appreciate it. All right, so we have a few more minutes before we wrap up. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Just to reiterate, this session was recorded. We will be sending it out here in the next 24 to 48 hours. I am going to drop the feedback survey into the chat as well as sending over an email. Please take your time to fill that survey out. It will take you about 1 or 2 minutes just to let us know how we did in this session and what we can do to improve on. We also have a number of other Career Quest sessions going on the rest of the month. Please take a look at our calendar and the upcoming sessions that we do have. I'll drop that in the chat as well. Right. So it does not look like we have any other additional questions or anyone looking to come off of mute. So I would like to take the time to thank you guys for joining us today. Javi, Naveen, Taylor, Phoebe, and Sarah for joining us and providing great information about Central Health and the opportunities. Be on the lookout for that follow-up email and the career opportunities at Central Health. And if you do have any questions, please reach out to the team so they can help you guide your way through your career journey and applying for Central Health. With that being said, I'll thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.